The first thing I want to do is get the grill lit. So I'm going to use the grill gun. Give it about 30 seconds here. And that ought to be good enough to get us started. And then I'm going to set my accessory rack and my heat deflectors in, just so I could be set up like I would if I was doing a normal cook. And then we'll put the grill grates in, and I'm going to set up the Fireboard here to bring us up to 500 degrees. So I've got the Fireboard hooked up, and I'm going to set the fan to 500 degrees. We're going to let this guy come up to temperature, and once it gets to 500 degrees, we're going to hold it there for 30 or 40 minutes to make sure the grill gets nice and hot. So what I'm going to do here also is we'll start our timer so we can see how long this process has been going start to finish. This is an accessory you're going to want for this project. I've got a couple of these around here, and I just bought a new one for this. This is a Barron's 6-gallon galvanized steel bucket with a lid. I use these guys for dealing with leftover charcoal and hot coals when I need it. Okay, we're here at the 35-minute mark, and after a minor problem with my Fireboard where I had to reset it, we're at 500 degrees. So I'm going to hold it here, I think, for 45 minutes just to make sure that the grill is good and hot. So we're going to come back 45 minutes from now and look at the process of cooling this grill down quickly. Here we are 45 minutes later, and this grill's nice and hot. You can see I'm actually sitting here at 515 by the Fireboard, and my dome thermometer on the Joe over here is sitting right at 500 degrees. So what the process is going to be here to cool this guy down, we're going to shoot for 250. So the first thing I want to do is grab my phone, and we're going to bring up my Fireboard app, and we're going to set my target temperature here to 250 and let that change. It changed. It's updated here on the Fireboard, and following that I'm going to tighten down my top vent very tight. And at this point what I'm going to do is we're going to open the lid, and I'm going to take some of these hot components right out of the grill, set them in a safe place. We're going to start with the grill grates, and that's actually all I'm going to take off here at the moment, because this is something you can do with food on the grill. But what we're going to do is I'm going to lift this whole assembly out, and we're going to set that hot basket of coals into our bucket. So with my heat resistant gloves, I'm going to very carefully lift this out, set our charcoal basket right into that. You got to have good quality heat resistant gloves for this. I'm going to twist that off and set that aside, and then we're going to dump these hot coals right into this bucket. And what I typically do here next is set my hot charcoal basket off to the side. I'm going to set my small basket on the inside because we're going to use some of these hot coals. I'm going to use some tongs, and I'm going to grab some of these hot coals out of here and put them into my empty basket. Not going to grab a lot of these. I'm just going to put a few in there, and then my lid is going to go on this bucket, and that will snuff those coals out to where we can use those coals again. They'll go out just like if you had left them in the Kamado grill. Now this guy's still really hot, So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to give it about 5 to 7 minutes to cool a little bit with the lid open. So my grill's been open for about 7 minutes. I'm going to dump in some fresh charcoal on top of those hot coals, and then we are going to get our heat resistant gloves back on, and we're going to put this guy back together. It is still hot, so let me move my bucket over a little bit. We'll use the divide and conquer flexible cooking rack to pick that back up, and we're going to set it right back into the grill. And I will spin the camera back around here to show you that. So our target here is to go to 250 degrees, so I'm gonna put my grill grates back on. If I had food on the grill, I would have either taken the grates off with the food on it, or I would have just lifted this out with the grates in place. That's a little more challenging to do. So now, since we've already set the Fireboard, we're going to close the grill back and we'll let it come back up. And like I said, our target here is 250. We're probably going to go above that because the grill pieces are still pretty hot, but we'll just watch it and see. After about 3 minutes here or so, we're back up to 250, and we're still going to climb. So we're going to watch and see where this peaks out. Here we are after about another 10 minutes, and we're up to 284. It's climbing still a little bit, but it's climbing pretty slowly. So we'll come back in another 10 minutes and see where we are. 10 more minutes in, we're up to 300 degrees, and I really think here we're at about a point where we're leveling off. So I'm pretty happy with what I've seen here. We're going to come back and look at this in 30 minutes and see where we are. Like I said, this is an experiment. We're going to see how quickly we can get down, but I think this has been successful. If we were changing gears here to make a cook, from a hot cook to throw something on like a brisket butt or ribs, that big cold hunk of meat in there would have made a big difference. And also, since we don't have any food on the grill, we don't have any humidity in the grill, which also helps temper the heat. So we'll be back in a half an hour. Here we are about 30 more minutes in. The grill's definitely in a cooling phase now. It's down to 290. I'm going to call this project a success, even though we didn't land at 250. What we could do to land this grill closer to 250 is, while we had the grill open and the charcoal out, we could have left it open and empty for 15 minutes instead of 7 minutes, and got the grill a little cooler inside. I maybe could have put a little less hot coal back in there before we started it back up. But like I said, with meat on this grill, or if I was going to go straight to another cook, well, we would have been right on the money. Putting a 7, 8, or even a 10-pound piece of cold meat in there, we would have equalized down a lot cooler. So anyway, this is just something I wanted to try and bring you along with me to show you a potentially really good way to take a really hot grill and bring it down to start a cool temperature cook. Until next time, this is John Setzler with Atlanta Grill Company.